Hello, hello. We're going to be joining in with source frequency today, and as I've been told, a representative of ET energy. So let's begin. We're going to be talking about what if you left on a spaceship off Earth, what would it really be like? So this isn't an experience that I've had personally, but it's definitely an experience that I've heard repeatedly over the last 9 years when giving readings to people. It's interesting because I think we have the people who wonder what it would be like. In fact, we have people who are like waving money in the air, hoping that a UFO comes to pick them up. And then, of course, we have the people that have actually experienced it. And this is something that I've heard a lot about from individuals, not only from readings that have been repeated over the past almost 9 years, but also people that have joined in and have taken my Mediumship for Beginners course and classes. And they've openly talked about what their experiences were like. But the top two, I would say, from the individuals that have come to me over the past almost 9 years would be Pleiadian and Arcturian. And then we would narrow it down and say probably I would say Gray would be third. So out of 4,000, almost 4,000 readings, I would say at least bare minimum 200 times at least that I've heard people coming to me saying that they've been taken out of their home or taken off world, or the ET energy has come to visit them in their bedroom and surrounding their bed. One of the top two reasons why ET energy is taking a person off Earth, number one is to experiment body functions in order to reproduce a hybrid. So there is a hybrid project, although I don't hear of people coming to me as often. The second reason why ET energy comes and takes you for a ride in their spaceship is because they want to help you. They're trying to also they're examining your body. They're doing like almost like an MRI is what it looks like, and they are trying to see how you're doing. They're just trying to make sure that you're doing all right here on Earth. The other thing, of course, you guys have noticed when you're watching programs on TV is that ET energy, a lot of the times it knows exactly where you are. So if your soul agreed to be abducted on a repeated basis, this ET energy, it knows where you are at all times. I don't know if there's some kind of an implant or a tracker placed or what the case may be, but it doesn't matter where you move. It doesn't matter where you go. Sometimes it's one experience. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 experiences. And sometimes it's more than that. Usually when they're coming to help us and scan us and make sure we're doing okay here on Earth and to, help us, they are only coming maybe like 2 or 3 times. So it's not as often. When that energy was coming in last night, I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like I was having a really hard time sleeping last night. The veil is very thin today. Overheating, irritated, heart palps, anxiety. Because when the light comes in and it starts to funnel your body, you get these symptoms happening through your body. So that's what was happening last night. And I feel like the veil is extremely thin today. So while I was laying there getting pummeled by source frequency, I said, who is going to take the lead and talk about this topic today? And the answer is Source or God. And the other answer I got was a representative of ET energy. So there's going to be an energy that is going to step forward and represent all ETs on coming and going, I'm assuming on Earth, or all ETs in general. All ETs in general. Representative of ET energy, and I'm going to let it take the lead. Whoa, let's slow it down a little bit because the human brain here, I know you're used to moving that fast, but could we just slow it down? I'm getting this arm sweep, And I'm being told that there is a vast amount of space out there, and that within that space, you'd almost say that you couldn't even put a count. There is no count. It is immeasurable, unlimited amount of space and organisms and life forms in different parts of the universe, galaxies is what we would coin it or term it to be. And it is unlimited as to the amount of ET energies, we call them, extraterrestrial energies, right? Which is something unknown. We don't know what it is. So I guess if they're looking at us, does that mean we're ETs too? So with that being said, it's important to know and to recognize that we are not the only ones here. We are a very, very, very small piece of the piece of pie or the big picture. So with that being said, it's important to understand that there's a lot going on off Earth, around Earth, that we may not be aware of or even be comfortable with. Many would get upset if they knew what was really transpiring around them. It would really throw the planet into chaos, and that's not what they want for us. In many cases, many here on Earth would find it like the end of days or something of the sort, potentially self-harm or harm another, and we don't want that. But we're here, and you can speak with us anytime you wish. And you know what else that I'm getting the gist of, especially when we went exploring on one miniature planet, Ceres, and I have that video up on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it. The gist I got of what I'm looking at. Also, I've done remote viewing on Mars. I've done remote viewing on the moon. And what I'm seeing is that there's no something physical for us to see per se. So that must be purposeful because they don't want to freak out humanity. So I'm seeing a lot of life forms. They're just energy forms. They're energy. Everything's energy. We're just feeling like we're in a physical body or a physical experience. So what I'm seeing when I go and I look around is a lot of energy or even residual energy, especially on Mars. I could tell that there was a lot more going on Mars. And I could tell that there have been some heavier frequencies hanging out on Mars and surrounding, mainly Mars. It was mainly Mars. I think a little bit on the moon. But along with us anchoring the light and ascending, Source is here, clearing up the surrounding areas around Earth is what I've been informed of in the past. So anything heavy or low vibrational that is not serving a purpose or in alignment with the light, it has to go. So now the light is really honing in and focusing on Earth. And I get this visual like an ant hill, and you get a magnifying glass on a sunny day. And a lot of light is being focused on Earth, similar like that. But it comes from CMEs from the sun. It comes from solar flares from the sun. It comes from huge waves of energy. It's even coming from within the planet herself, who is sending out a lot of energy out to us. I went on holiday this past summer, and it would blow your mind the amount of energy that was permeating the cabin when we arrived. Not only was the land there greeting us, but all of the trees. And these are ancient trees that are roughly 1,000 years old, maybe older. And so we're in amongst these trees, and they are greeting us. They are bombarding the cabin. They are hanging out with us. They are soothing and healing our bodies. They're helping us ground our energies. So there's energy reaching out to you in many different ways. And so when we talk about the earth reaching out to us and sending us energy, it's the trees, it's the land, it's unbelievable. And other times I've been on vacation, I'm getting 75 fairies lined up, and they don't need to open the door to come in. They just come right on in. Okay. They're helping to clear dense thoughts, etc. Most of the connections that humans are making with ET life force is purposeful. Some, and we're talking about very few, is not purposeful, not agreed upon, and not enjoyed or liked. Not only by the human, but also by the energies that be. If at any time you don't like something, whatever it may be, whether it's here on Earth with another human or with an ET energy or non-physical energy, make that known, ask for backup, and let the backup step forward on your behalf. And I'm also getting that it won't necessarily just be your spirit guides and your guardian angels helping you, but it will be other ET energies stepping forward to help you on your behalf as well. Greetings, dear ones. This is I, with whom you know as God, Source, Light and Love, Universal Oneness. There are many different faiths, many different religions that are based around in truth. I am everywhere with each of you all the time. And you are a spark of or a part of me, and vice versa. We are all one. Remember, the experiences that you have here are but temporary. The experiences that you're having here on Earth are, there's an attempt for the experiences that you're having here on Earth to be sheltered, not ready necessarily to play with or be a part of connecting with the outside energies that reside here. And these energies that reside here know this as well. There is a focal point where none of the energies and source frequency, no one here wants to disrupt us, create fear here, or disturb our quality of lives. Should you need help or guidance or assistance with anything in your day-to-day lives or with anything, please call upon me, and I will step forward and help you, assist you. There's our free will. So there's also what our soul signed up for, which is a part of our contract. So if a part of our contract is unfolding and we agree to this, then source frequency will help you around that. So if we're asking to get rid of an illness, for example, but it doesn't shift, then your soul, it has agreed to that. That's a part of your contract, for example. But God can slow down the progression, remove a huge amount of the pain, bring about maybe medicines or natural path type, not necessarily cures, but ways of making things easier while you reside here in this body, for example. There's a lot to be learned by the way of suffering, in which many of you, especially those of you who are new to Earth, are not accustomed to or aware of. So the gist I'm getting is that our souls, especially the ones that are new to Earth, we don't suffer in heaven. We don't struggle. There's no strife. So in order for expansion and growth and learning, we come to Earth to have an experience of this. However, God also wants to remind us that we can create a sliver of heaven here on Earth should we wish, should we choose, and we can make life easier on ourselves by way of where we place our thoughts, our attention, our focus, our beliefs, our attention. Your attention sends out energy, which creates more of what you're focusing on, for you are the manifestors of your reality. So it's really important to stay vigilant and focused on what you want to create rather than what you continuously focus on or don't like. So if you're constantly focusing on what you don't like in life and talking about it and thinking about it and watching it versus what is it that I want to create, and start thinking about that on a regular basis, or using affirmations. I had a friend of mine, he lives in Liverpool, and he was working on these crates at nighttime. I think they were moving these crates around. So they have to get up on the crate, and I think they had to strap them down and then they can move them. So there's like 3 guys, middle of the night, they're doing night shift. And he said in a split second, they saw this light and they thought, that's weird. It's moving. It's really bright. And then next thing you know, the UFO came and was like right in front of all 3 of them. And they were really shocked. And it was right next to them for about a minute or 2, and then it took off. And so he says, yep, no second guessing that that's real after that experience. I said, that's wild. He said that happened years ago, but it's still fresh in my memory. So you're asking, did ET energy visit your mom years ago? Your mom remembers an intense light shining through her balcony door, 13th floor. She felt they were going to take her, but she changed her mind. How fascinating. Yeah, and so if they're there to help us, it is our free will choosing too. And if we're too scared and we don't want to leave the house with them, obviously, for obvious reasons, they will respect that. And they will just go ahead and leave you to it. A lady that I know over the years, she lives in New York, and she had the Pleiadians come to visit her, and they took her out, and she was on a Pleiadian ship, but she was really scared, and she was hiding, and they realized she's too scared. So they just sent her back home. So was this ET energy, or was it something else? ET energy. Visiting, greeting, wanting her to come with them. But I get like lightheartedness with it. Like, come with us. Come on out. But they understand, they can see that it was daunting for her. And it's okay that she refused. And the other thing that they're relaying to me is that they can hear our thoughts. They know what we're thinking. And they know the frequency that we're sending off. So if we're scared and we're sending off a frequency of fear, and they're picking up on our thoughts, then okay, let's leave her to it. Let's leave her be. You know what they're saying? Don't worry, it won't happen again. But they're saying it in kind of a jovial, like comical kind of way. Is that funny? Oh, so she asked them to come and then she changed her mind. What a shocker. It really is something when you see people come to you and they're seeing grays floating past their 2nd floor bathroom. And I said, well, what were you watching? Were you watching anything about grays? Yeah, I was on a paranormal program. And so when you notice them, when you're talking about them, when you're asking them to come and visit you, don't be shocked when they do. So you might be lightheaded and nausea, because it's a lot of energy. So if that's ever happening, you just need to ask them to step back a touch, okay, until you're comfortable. But they're leaning in to help you on Earth. You never come to Earth by yourself. No one's dropping you off here and leaving you on your own. It never, ever happens. Ever. Not once. So are certain ETs attracted or more around different landscapes on Earth, like mountains, rocks, oceans, deserts, forests? Certain mountains in remote regions, and I'm seeing Alaska, and I'm seeing Alaska Triangle, big time. Okay, and I also see some UFOs coming and going from within the ocean as well. Some of their stays are longer and purposeful, and they spend lengthier periods of time here. There's lesser amounts of those types of ETs spending time here on Earth. And then most of the visitations in these regions are quick or fast. And then I also received that many of them are just kind of going by or hovering by. And every time I look at Earth, I see Earth and I see like this highway going past Earth. So whether you want to call it a highway of light, whatever, it's just something that they speed rail for UFOs and other energies. And so this is right by Earth. So it's an easy pit stop, and they're curious and they're wondering how we're doing and they're wondering what we're up to. So the ones that stay here lengthier, what are you up to here? Gathering information, knowledge, collections. So collecting of plant life, and also collecting and learning about animals, humans. And then I see some ET energy is here helping Earth, helping humanity, sharing, giving knowledge and information in order to help the Earth thrive in the years ahead. So you're feeling a big energy shift, making you want to leave the location that you're in, but you own the property and it's not easy to just leave. Any input on what's next? Is it best for Toby to leave? They're just giving you a precursor, or yeah, it's leaning in. It's leaning in pretty good. And it's a large amount of energy. It's not one focal point. It's like I'm getting told by your entire team that you relocating is going to happen soon. You know what else they're putting in my head? I remember living in this studio apartment, and it was up on the top of a mount. And all of a sudden, this developer decided to purchase up a huge amount of land. He bought out like 5 houses to the right of me. And then they started to tear the trees down, not in an ethical way, and tear the houses down, and they were going to rebuild newer houses and make a profit. And it was right then my angel said it's time to move. And they didn't back off of me until I moved. So if you're getting which I am, it's a very strong feeling to move, they won't back off of you until you do move. So you can make it easy or hard. You listen to them or not. When would you like her to move? As soon as possible. Rather than focusing on excuses as to why not, they want you to give your attention to relocating. You're not used to being abruptly told to up and leave. You're not used to you like things settled in a certain particular way. So this is going to be a challenge for them to get you up and out, but they're not going to back off until you do. They're also showing me when I moved to a certain little location. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Because they wouldn't let me sleep for like 2 nights. So they'll close down your chakra centers and make things really uncomfortable. So you got a tightness in your chest, tightness in your stomach, and maybe tightness in your head, and it will not back off until you listen. So I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, move to the larger city nearby and contact your grandmother. And I did. And as soon as I did that, they backed right off of me. What a relief. Yeah, it's a big challenge for you. So what happened in my situation when they told me to move? They ripped out everything. It was construction for 1.5 years, 2 years. It went on longer than expected. I went to go visit the landlady afterwards. She said, good thing you left, because everyone had to park down below, walk up right in front of your suite and go up the hill. It was covered in mud. The contractor messed up 5 times, had to rip the entire road out 5 times. Okay. So there was a reason why my angels were telling me to move. They're like, you got to get out of here. Okay. Any psychic that reaches out to you and is pressuring you to allow them to give you a reading, I wouldn't trust that. I don't reach out to anybody. If somebody, and their free will consent, wants to come to me, they can do that. They can look at the many reviews I have on my Facebook page, the over 60 reviews on Google, the many reviews on my website. People, they like, oh, did you message me on Instagram? No, I will never message you. I'll never message you on Instagram. I'll never message you on TikTok. I don't need to chase people, especially in this field of work. Why would I chase someone? No, unless you see those rare occasions where a psychic maybe is in contact with a deceased loved one and the deceased loved one is pressuring them. Well, then the psychic will leave you an email or a message through Messenger as to what your loved one's saying, and thank you so much. And that's free. Anything on that? Yeah. The other thing that's coming through is there's a lot of people that are from Africa and all over the world online, and they're pretending to be voodoo witch doctors and all sorts of things, and, give you readings for that $10, that they're going to get from you. And then they just pester you and they come at you relentlessly. And, I used to have to remove men from my spiritual group on Facebook because a lot of men from India were coming after all the women in my spiritual group, messaging them, harassing them, and begging them to marry them. And that sounds absurd, but it's really important to understand that some people are in the wrong arena, or their level of consciousness is not respectful or considerate of others. So yeah, I've seen a lot of things in my day, and I'm not against people from other parts of the world. What I'm saying is, don't pressure people, try to control people, try to bombard them and get what you want out of them. And me, I. It doesn't work like that. Are there ETs on Skinwalker Ranch? 100% yes, but I'll listen in. But I haven't watched it for very long. I don't watch that program because I kind of get a heaviness when I watch it. So I don't watch it. But, I feel like there's a lot. And the answer to that is, oh, yes, which is a big yes. Many are drawn to that piece of land there, the energy there. There's like an energy there that they're drawn to. Picture the earth is sending out energy too, right? So all these ET energies or UFOs, they're sensing the earth sending out energy, and they go to these hotspots. I'm just going to take questions that I can answer easily and quickly because I only have a few minutes left before I begin my readings. Just letting you know that I have 4 spots left in August at 20% off if you feel guided to have a reading. If you're not thinking about it, it feels flat and stagnant, don't come for a reading. Okay, but if you're thinking about it, you're like, okay, well, it's 20% off and I've been thinking about it for a while, then it might be the time for you. Or not, you just wait. They're aware of when we are waving at them or greeting them or talking to them. Okay, so anytime you're talking to a light in the sky, or you think you see someone or an energy and you feel like they're hovering over your house for a reason and it feels really good, it is, and you can talk to them, and everything you say within your mind or out loud, they receive. Okay, well that makes it easy. It's like an easy radio station signal. Okay, you guys, have an awesome weekend. I'll see you in 1 week where we will be channeling the Arcturians. Can't wait. Bye.